there is a peculiar power in symbols. We are taught to see them as strength, dominance, inevitability. Yet sometimes, when examined closely, a symbol exposes its own fragility. At times, the most expensive weapon on earth does not fail in battle or strategy, but in something far more basic, something so ordinary that its collapse becomes quietly humiliating. What stands out here is not a missile launch or a naval maneuver, but the fact that aboard the most expensive aircraft carrier ever built, basic sanitation has become a daily crisis. The USS Gerald Ford, a $13 billion emblem of American military power, carries roughly 4,600 sailors, many of whom, according to the Navy's own internal documents, cannot reliably use a toilet. Since its first operational deployment in 2023, the Gerald Ford has suffered constant failures in its wastewater and sewage system. These are not rare malfunctions, but daily emergencies. Internal emails obtained through Freedom of Information Act requests describe engineers responding every single day to clogs, breakdowns, and system reboots. In one 4-day span alone, there were 205 failures, with technicians working up to 19 hours a day just to keep the system barely functional. This is not rumor or political exaggeration. Since 2023, the ship has requested outside technical assistance 42 times for sewage issues. In 2025 alone, before the year ended, there were 32 formal requests for external help. 12 occurred after the current deployment began in June, the same deployment that positioned the carrier off Venezuela as the centerpiece of Washington's show of force in the Caribbean. The problem lies at the heart of the ship's design. The Ford-class carriers were marketed as the future of naval warfare, built around advanced automation and efficiency. Central to this promise is the VCHD vacuum sanitation system, adapted from cruise ships and intended to save space and water. On paper, it looked elegant. In reality, aboard a vessel of this scale, it proved fragile. Narrow vacuum pipes running through 10 zones can be disabled by minor misuse, shutting down entire sections at once. Engineers routinely extract clothing, paper products, and debris from a system. None of this was unforeseen. In 2020, the Government Accountability Office warned that the system was undersized and poorly designed. The warning did not stop deployment or trigger redesign. The Navy accepted the risk, and the consequences now define daily life on board. Internal messages resemble emergency notices rather than military communications, turning something as basic as using a bathroom into a race against time. The timing sharpens the contradiction. While the Gerald Ford leads a flotilla enforcing pressure on Venezuela, intercepting oil-linked tankers and projecting U.S. power across the Caribbean, it relies on a sanitation system that collapses under routine human use. This disconnect reveals a deeper issue. Prestige projects rushed through political cycles, optimized for headlines rather than durability. Despite repeated acid cleanings, port-only repairs, and mounting costs, failures persist. By mid-2025, the issue spilled into public view, with families contacting media outlets and senior officers demanding answers. Shipyard responses offered only temporary workarounds, with a full redesign possibly a decade away, an admission not of delay, but of systemic failure. This is not merely a technical story. When known flaws are documented, experienced, and still deployed as symbols of dominance, the problem becomes cultural. It reflects incentives that prioritize appearance over resilience. On paper, the Gerald Ford will complete its mission and be recorded as operational. Internally, it tells another story. one of exhaustion, constant emergency repairs, and a system that never worked as promised. In the end, this is not really a story about toilets. It is a story about priorities. $13 billion bought a carrier capable of launching jets and projecting power, but not of guaranteeing dignity for those inside. History shows that empires rarely erode through dramatic defeat. They weaken when their symbols of strength fail in quiet, human ways. The Gerald Ford, drifting off Venezuela, carries that lesson with it. We don't chase breaking news. We analyze consequences.